Hello everyone and welcome to Mountain Lake Journal. I'm Tom Halleck. Last year, COVID-19 lockdowns shut down just about every tourist attraction, which in turn drove thousands and thousands of visitors to the Adirondack Park. The spike in number of tourists created a real dilemma. How do you encourage people to come visit, hike, and experience the pristine wilderness of the Adirondacks, while at the same time the traffic and sheer number of visitors are reaching overwhelming levels? This summer, the state and other groups have been trying something new to help solve that problem and ease the overcrowding. Hikers have started reserving parking spots at the Adirondack Mountain Reserve, 7,000 acres of privately owned land that hikers can access to reach several of the most popular trails in the high peaks.
Level of use in the high peaks has been growing pretty steadily. In 2019, it really jumped another level, and last year, even during COVID, the volume of traffic was tremendous. Out along Route 73, around the AMR, there's popular trailheads on both sides of the road, but most traffic was going through the AMR easement. And the road was parked up on both sides, even in a steep mountain pass. People were walking up and down the road to get to the trailhead because the parking is pretty limited there, running across the highway on dangerous curves. It was a significant safety issue.
This parking lot would be full by 5 a.m. in the morning or earlier. And it was a mad rush to get here. And then, they parked all the way up Route 73 to Beer Walls and beyond, and they would hike right down Route 73. And this section of Route 73 is actually probably one of the most dangerous, with it coming so steeply downhill and the curves in it.
To address the safety concerns, the DEC installed these barriers, which prevent hikers from parking along Route 73 near Keene, New York. The DEC had also partnered with the Adirondack Mountain Reserve to launch a new pilot program, which allows hikers to reserve a spot in the AMR parking lot online in advance.
We had been working on it for almost a year with the DEC. You register for an account. It is a free registration, and you can go underneath parking reservations, select a new parking reservation, and select your date.
Reservations can be made 2 weeks in advance. When the program was first launched back in May, there was criticism from some in the hiking community.
There was pushback, and there was concern about access.
There was some concern from local residents at the beginning that it was going to block access for locals who were used to the convenience of going for a hike after work or having more access because it's their backyard.
But by mid-October, the benefits of the reservation program became apparent to many.
In the past, people were leaving their home at 1 or 2 in the morning to try and beat the crowd to get a parking space, and still often not getting one. I've seen a significant improvement in roadside safety. There aren't people running up and down the road. There aren't cars parked in the travel lane. And then what I hear from hikers is that they really appreciate not having to take a gamble on parking. They know they make their reservation, they can get up, drive to the parking lot, park, and enjoy their hike.
The balance is really about getting back to the focus of preservation of the forever wild, both public and private, that are inside the blue line. This pilot program helps us strike that balance. We are not taking the Adirondack Mountain Reserve away from the hiking public. We actually feel like we're giving it back to the hiking public in the way that it should be enjoyed. Like John Muir and all those that wrote about the wilderness back in the 1850s and 60s and 70s that used to come up here. They wrote about the solitude, and they wrote about the beauty of the wilderness, and that's what we are here to strike a balance to preserve.
How do we continue to provide access for state land? And in Keene, that's a critical issue. We're standing at the foot of the trail to Porter, and the trail that connects Porter over to the garden ran across private property, and that landowner got so tired of the noise, the impact, the litter, that they closed access to that. So we lost access because we weren't managing the impact.
And while the reservation system works well for the AMR, Keenetown Supervisor Joe Pete Wilson does not believe similar programs would work as well elsewhere inside the Adirondack Park.
I will say it's not a park-wide solution. The pilot reservation system fits very well there because it's a popular trailhead with a lot of demand. It's over an easement that's on private property, and the easement owner's willing to manage it. So that's a circumstance that fits the permit system really well. I am not an advocate for limits on use park-wide.
Instead, Supervisor Wilson would like to see an expansion of the Keene shuttle bus services to some other trailheads throughout the park.
So this is a critical issue. How do we continue to provide access to state land? My vision would be to have more spots like Marcy Field where you have education, parking off the highway, and use those hubs to move people out to the hikes they want to do, to get them the access they need. And as the shuttle system grows and as the network of hubs grow, to really have a circle around the high peaks where you start at one of the big motels in Lake Placid and reach trails in Keene or boating out towards Tupper Lake, and having a loop around the high peaks to get people into some of the smaller towns like Minerva, Newcomb, Long Lake, Indian Lake, where there's a natural loop and there's a lot of access to beautiful hiking and waterways through there.